Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And today I'm going to answer a question from a viewer who's seeking a bit of help from old Uncle Ash here in regards to the way that he dresses and the outcomes that he's likely to get in life. And the question, I'm going to just read it out in his words, it comes from Petri. And Petri says, I am 43 years of age, and after a lifetime of being a man happy to wear mostly jeans and casual shirts and t-shirts, I'm just starting to appreciate the craftsmanship behind tailoring and well-made shoes. I have begun to notice the fact that my bosses and seniors at work all dress a lot more maturely and smartly to me. And I think it's about time I stepped up my game, as I want to move upwards in my career in the next few years to more management and leadership based roles with more salary. Until now, I've lived in the world of fast fashion and I didn't give style much thought to clothing and the impact that it would have on my life. I just liked comfort. What's the mindset shift that I need to fully appreciate traditional menswear? And how do I avoid the common mistakes that beginners make when stepping into this world, and how should I get started? Well, I got to say, Petri, it's a subject which is very close to my own heart, because I think it's fair to say we all go on a journey, an evolutionary process in the way that we attire ourselves and how the world sees us. Because we want to be, we want to make a good impression on the world around us, don't we? And my own evolutionary journey, I can trace it right back, to when I was a school kid, because we wore a school uniform. And my father taught me to, tie my necktie with a Windsor knot, and it went from there. I then went into the armed forces, the military. I found an appreciation with clothing and uniforms and the impact that has on how I feel wearing my things. And that even went on further, to when I worked in law enforcement. First as a uniform patrol officer, then as a detective. And the way that we dress, it impacts those around us and how they see us as individuals. And there's lots of, science and research which underpins the really good argument as to why we should go exactly down the route that you're talking about. And that's dressing well if we want to get better outcomes in life. We'll touch on some of that, but I'm just going to get straight on with it here. And I'm going to give you 3 time-tested bits of, I would say, actionable advice. You can employ this in your evolutionary journey to being the better dressed, smarter, more successful man that you see in your immediate future. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that it's not about actually going out and buying things, all right, or acquiring new things for your wardrobe. The first thing you have to do is to shift your mindset away from dressing to impress to dressing for respect. Because really and truly, the first most important mindset shift is understanding that traditional men's wear, right, traditional clothing that you're talking about, that you're seeing your bosses wearing, it's not about vanity. It's not about peacocking or showing the world that you are something special. It's actually, what underpins it all is respect. Initially, it's respect for you, respect for yourself. But equally, it is about respect for the other people around you and the situations that you find yourself going into. Because when they look at you coming to a meeting or coming to a social networking event or going to a special function at work, and you're the one who's taken the time and effort to dress well, you are emanating a respect for the situation and for the people around you. And it makes a big deal, right? Particularly on yourself. But we'll talk about that in a moment. And it doesn't have to be something that complex either, does it? Because something as simple as a tailored jacket, a well-polished Oxford shoe, for instance, or a brogue shoe, a nicely pressed shirt, these are not costumes, not at all. People often think of dressing up to go to work. They're putting on a costume. It's not the case at all. They are signals. These are simple items of clothing that we wear as a signal to other people that we take ourselves seriously, that we've made an effort, that we've been intentional in the way that we clothe our bodies. And they're a very, very powerful reasons to do that. I mean, I'll give you one example. For instance, a 2015 survey by the journal, respected science journal, Social, Psychological and Personality Science, said that men who wear formal clothing perform significantly better on cognitive tests which involve abstract thinking, a key trait of leadership, and men who dress well perform far better than those who dress casually. So to put it quite frankly on the table, Petri, dressing well literally helps you think more like a leader than people who choose not to do that. And remember, it's not about just trying to improve your cognitive function either. It's about your identity. You are creating for yourself a brand image of somebody who is dressing smartly, who's presentable, who is tasteful in the way that you put clothing on, and that comes across to others. And let's be clear on this. It is not about abandoning comfort in order to put on, the vestiges of a well-dressed man, because those of us who dress this way will tell you that dressing in nice clothing with fine fabrics against your skin, warm, natural materials, it's more comfortable than dressing in synthetic, shapeless clothing, which does absolutely nothing for you at all. So, my first action for you, at the beginning of the day, starting tomorrow, before you put your clothes on, before you draw things out of your wardrobe, in fact, it's even better to do it the night before. Think about what the day ahead entails. Where am I going? What am I going to be doing? And be intentional about the clothing that you draw out of the wardrobe that you put on. If you're going to meet a boss, if you're going to be in a situation that could further your career, dress accordingly. If you're going out into the field, maybe you're an architect or something like that and you're going onto a building site, dress accordingly. But always dress intentionally so that you make effort in your attire. And anybody who looks at you will recognize that, and that's the impression they will draw. Now, my second tip for you is really quite easy, and that is to start with the basics and don't try and jump in at the complex end. Because one of the things I often see with chaps contemplating this proposal in their lives that they have for themselves of dressing better is that they think being a well-dressed fellow, it's very complicated. I don't understand what type of shoes to wear. I don't understand what colours go with this and what I should wear with that and what should I wear in the city opposed to in the country. And they tend to go off at the deep end and overbuy. They'll buy too many things, they'll spend a pile of money, and actually it becomes intimidating, overwhelming for them. They start tracing trends. They look at various gentlemen's lifestyle magazines which tell you you have to have this for this season. And before you know it, your wardrobe is full, you don't know what to wear, and you end up deferring back to those simple, comfortable, casual clothes like t-shirts and jeans that you always have, because you're overwhelmed with your now expensive and fancy wardrobe. I would say to you, that's not the way you want to go, because it can feel, if you think of clothing like that, it can feel like you're an actor wearing clothes that are not yours because you're playing a part. And that's the last thing in the world that we want. We want this to be natural and very simple. So I would say, start with the basic foundational pieces that have always served intentionally well-dressed men well. And I'm going to say, if I was you and you want to up your game, this is what I would buy. A simple navy blazer made from wool. Always try and get natural fabrics if you can. Simple single-breasted or double-breasted, if you want to be really fancy, woolen navy blazer. Navy blazer is the little black dress of the gentleman's wardrobe. Goes with just about everything and can be worn to just about every situation. Make sure it fits you well, right? If you buy one second-hand or from a lower budget outlet, get them tailored. Make sure it fits you nicely. When you've got your blazer, that's the main piece. Now get yourself a couple of white shirts or a couple of light blue shirts like I'm wearing. Pretty much go with everything. Then get yourself a pair of grey flannel slacks, or if it's the warmer time of year, some khaki chinos, all right? Because again, you've now got the foundation of a great outfit. Shoes, I would get yourself a nice pair of brown or burgundy brogues, maybe a semi-brogue, something like that. Because again, very flexible, you can wear it with a suit, and if you really wanted to, you could wear it with jeans. So you've now got a great foundation. Shoes, trousers, shirt, jacket, maybe a tie or two in a style that you like, simple solid colours, or maybe striped, a rep style tie or a regimental style tie like I'm wearing today. But that outfit will do you for meeting the big boss. It'll do you for going to a friend's wedding. It will do you for going out to a social function. It will sort you out for even going to a wedding, right? You can pretty much do anything you want in that outfit. It is quiet elegance. You're never going to look out of place, and you are sorted. So build your wardrobe simply by investing in a few key pieces that are flexible. And my advice is to start off with that navy blazer. And when you've gone through that phase, you can think about something like a tweed jacket. Again, very, very flexible, a little bit more casual, can wear it in the office on sort of Tuesday. Nobody's going to bat an eyelid. You can wear no tie with it, open collared. It's very, very interchangeable. And that way, without getting overwhelmed, you can build your way to intentional wardrobe success nice and easily. Now, my third and final tip for you is one which I'm struggling to make to you because I'm probably going to do myself out of a job here. And that is learn from observation in life, not from YouTube. All right, because I'm a YouTube guy. I talk about style and men's attire in a traditional sense on my channel. And I would say to you, if you come to me and you're watching my videos, I'm going to be talking in a certain direction. Now, it might not fit the life that you are living, right? So I would say don't be influenced too heavily by what you will see on YouTube and the various other formats of information you can receive about men's style. What I want you to do is to formulate your own style based upon the things that you see in others and are looking good. Now, what I suggest you do here is you say that you work in a place where you've got bosses who you say dress with a level of maturity which you personally aspire to. Well, take a deeper dive into the way that those guys are dressing and think to yourself, what is it about their outfit that I find most appealing? Go and have a good look at your boss and think, well, is it his jacket? Is it his trousers? Is it the way that his clothes fit his physique well? Is it the accessories that he's wearing? Is it that he always wears a necktie? Is it because his shoes are always on point and shiny? He might have a mirror shine, might not. But what is it that draws you in? Or is it a combination of all those together? Learn from observation and then look at other people and look at the other guys, maybe other bosses and managers and contemporaries and co-workers, and think to yourself, the way they are doing it is where I want to be. And that way, what you've done is you've kind of got a silent style mentor. These folks, they don't realize it, but what they're doing is bringing you along with them. Now, you'll be doing this as well. When you are a well-dressed fellow, your subordinates, your juniors will look at you and think, God, that guy's sharp. How's he doing it? Now, there's no problem in the world, and it certainly wouldn't bother me if I was in a situation as you describe. One of my co-workers came up to me and said, listen, I really love that jacket you're wearing. Where did you get it from? Or those shoes, super sharp. What brand are they? Because if a person enjoys dressing well, they will be delighted to chat to you about where they've got them, the best place to buy them from, where they, who they go to tinker with their clothes, their tailor, all of these little things. It is a form of complimenting them by saying, I love your jacket. Where did you buy it? What brand is that? Believe me, it'll be something which is appreciated by that person, and it'll bring you on as well on your evolutionary journey. So my little actionable tip, pick out one person in real life, not online, right? One person in real life who you really like the look of in the way that they dress, and have a real deep dive in why that outfit is working for you. And if you have the confidence to do so, and it's appropriate, have a chat with them about it and say to them, look, I'm looking to move up my game. I see you as a bit of a role model in the way that you style yourself. What advice can you give me? And I got to say, if somebody said that to me, I would be made up. I would be delighted to have a long conversation about my journey, why I dress the way I do, and how it works. And even if you don't want to talk to them because it seems a bit inappropriate, just absorb it, drink it in, see what works. Have a look at the colour shoes they're wearing, with the suits they're wearing, and why it all works. And you can employ that in your own style evolution. And if you're still undecided about this decision to dress a little better, there is science behind these feelings that you have. Because when we look at well-dressed guys, right, we all think to ourselves, I wish I looked a bit more like that. But there's a reason why we think that as well. And I'm going to give you the science, right? I'll give you some hard evidence here. In 2014, a study by the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that men who wore a suit negotiated better deals than men who dressed casually, and they achieved more than 10% better outcomes because they were perceived as being more competent, authoritative, and focused in their lives. And if you talk about moving into leadership roles, a survey by Forbes says that 64% of hiring managers say that appearance and dress sense significantly influences the decisions of senior leadership when it comes to interviews and promotion outcomes. So it's a fact. If you dress well, you are putting yourself on the right path to that improved outcomes that we're talking about. You can literally dress yourself into a better life if you have the inclination to do so. And I'm delighted that you've asked the question, because that tells us that you are already on the right path, because you're having those decisions with yourself and you're asking others. You are just a couple of steps away from being where you want to be. And I hope, Petri, and I wish you the very best on that journey, and I hope you get there sooner rather than later. And I hope you've enjoyed today's video, all of you out there. If you have, don't forget to like the video, push that thumbs up button, and subscribe if you'd like to see more like this. And I would be delighted to answer your question. All you've got to do is email me. I'd be delighted to get it, and I'll try and respond, or maybe even make a video just like this where we talk a bit in more depth about the issues that you face. And if you want to have more contact with me on a more personal level and see behind the scenes of my actual life, you can become one of my patrons. There are free tiers to my patron package, the link to which you will find in the description box below this video. I would be delighted to have you on that journey with me, and you will benefit from the additional exclusive videos I make each week just for you. So, until the next time we meet, take another step in your style evolution, and I will see you very soon.